Animals going on a rampage is both brutal and terrifying. So here are 30 crazy encounters caught on camera. What would you do if you encountered a massive grizzly bear in the woods? These are some of the most dangerous animals in the wild, and you definitely don't want to antagonize them.
Yeah.
Hey, big boy.
This guy, however, doesn't mean any harm and is just curious about the tourists visiting his home in Alaska.
Hey, bear. Hey, bear.
This guy's in a precarious situation because he's toast if the elephant thinks he's an enemy. So his solution? Just lie down, almost motionless, and extend your arm to befriend the elephant. Now, that probably isn't the best thing to do in this situation, but luckily the elephant's in a good mood. Ever seen an antelope run at full speed? Well, now you have. These guys are deceptively quick in the wild, so much so that they could even outrun a car. That said, they have to be quick when they're down on the food chain. What's more impressive, though, is the fact that they can maintain their speed over a very long distance. These campers have just experienced one of the most terrifying things ever. A lion giving them a surprise visit and hopping into their tent. Luckily, the campers were already awake when the beast showed up and had the chance to hide in their car and watch from a distance. If there's one thing we've learned about elephants, it's that you don't want to block their path. And so these tourists are frantically trying to back away from this big guy who does not look happy. The poor elephant seems to have lost its tusks and is not looking in great shape.
In the background.
Shouldn't you better get a cut?
I'm taking video.
Yeah. You take shots then. I beat the director.
Huh?
Here's a lioness resting under the shade of a tourist's car. But the male lion is clearly not pleased with that. In fact, he thinks the car is a threat and is trying to lure the lioness away. But the female lion isn't going to sit there and watch his antics either, growling back at him and making him sit in the shade with her. What a tricky situation for the tourist, though. An inquisitive elephant can be just as scary as one that's raging, because they're inherently erratic, and you never know what might trigger them. But even if that wasn't the case, just having a 10,000-pound beast get so close to you has to be an incredibly nerve-wracking experience in and of itself. One lion invading your camp is scary, but what if it brings the whole pride with it? Yep, these guys look famished and are scrounging around for food. Now, to be fair, the lion isn't in the mood for any fights, it just wants its family to eat. So it threatens the campers with some growls and returns to its cubs. This massive lion is out on patrol with the lioness, surveying his kingdom and looking to score some dinner. The tourists in the truck are lucky they're protected, though, because the lions don't look friendly at all. These tourists are in deep trouble as this massive elephant approaches them with nowhere else to go. Thankfully, the elephant seems super calm and isn't looking for a fight. It's just curious about the Jeep in its path, and once it makes sure the vehicle is safe, it walks past without an issue. What would you do if a lion climbed into your car? Surely that's not safe, right? Well, it turns out some lions are friends after all, because this big cat just wants to hop onto the safari vehicle and be part of the tour. The only issue? It likes the tourists a little too much, and doesn't want to leave at all.
Fila. Fila.
These tourists are experiencing something truly special as a cheetah has jumped on the back of their Jeep. But things are about to get even better for these folks.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
You don't get to have a cheetah on top of your roof every day, do you? Rhinos are some of the heaviest and most brutal land mammals in the world, and you definitely don't want to mess with them. They're also extremely erratic and won't hesitate before charging right at you. An angry rhino can deal some real damage, and this bad boy right here is preparing itself to attack this group of tourists. Luckily, they've got a tour guide who knows how to deal with this situation, so they can relax and take photos while he keeps the beast at bay. Much like rhinos, bison are also massive and can be very unpredictable in the wild, so you generally want to stay away from them. These guys, however, are used to being around humans and don't pose any threat.
The thing is massive. I don't have anything for you, buddy.
Justin, shoot your face.
Wild silverback gorillas can be extremely dangerous, which is why these photographers are trying their best to not antagonize this big guy they've just encountered. The gorilla seems to be looking for something else, though, and doesn't even acknowledge the photographers as it walks past them. These tourists are having the experience of a lifetime as they watch the king of the jungle walk within touching distance of their safari vehicle. What a special moment for these people.
He's like, okay, if he's leaving, so am I.
And speaking of special moments, these playful cheetahs have climbed on top of this tourist jeep, and they don't plan on leaving anytime soon either. But that's not even the best bit, because one cheetah has taken a real liking to this guy's hat. This right here is one of the most terrifying sights ever. A massive lion has just shown up outside this guy's house, and it's not in a good mood. This guy is putting a lot of faith in that chicken wire over his window. Hippos are freaks of nature because not only are they massive, but they are also surprisingly nimble. Just look at these absolute units covering the ground like it's nothing. The tourists are lucky that they are not in the hippo's path.
We better get out of here.
One angry elephant is scary enough, but an entire herd coming at you is the stuff of nightmares. They want the tourists out of their territory, and thankfully the driver obliges, because things could have gone real bad otherwise.
Obviously in reverse, I don't really get the option of trying to race away from them either. If I had an opportunity to get ahead of them, then...
Ever wondered what the leader of a 120-member chimp troop looks like? Well, here's one perched on top of a tree, enjoying his breakfast in the sun. These chimps are smarter than they look, and share over 95% of their DNA with humans. This bison at Badlands National Park is not only bigger than your average car, but also has enough power to destroy it. Sure, it may look slow, but it's actually quick enough to outrun vehicles, especially on rough terrain. Speaking of deceptively quick animals, these tourists are about to have a close encounter with a giraffe. The giraffe is focused on the bushes, so the tourists are not in any danger here. You don't get to watch an endangered species every day, so this white rhino encounter is pretty special for the tourists. While these rhinos are also just as big as their black counterparts, they're actually a lot calmer and won't attack you without a reason. Now this is something straight out of a 90s cartoon, 'cause there's no way gorillas actually beat their chests like that, right? Well, turns out they do. In fact, the sound is perhaps even more fascinating than the visual. Here's a scene straight out of a fairy tale as a giraffe approaches this person and presses its head against him, almost as if it is communicating. With that said, the guy also knows what he's doing, since he treats the giraffe with respect and doesn't try to hamper its curiosity. This is a textbook example of what you should not do if you're passing through a buffalo herd, because any sudden movement is enough to make these beasts freak and wreak havoc. Most people won't be as lucky as that biker. This elephant has just bumped its tusk on a Jeep, and it's not happy about that one bit. So it moves away, prepares itself, and decides to charge the Jeep for revenge.
Oh shit.
This guy is in a precarious situation, as a troop of silverback gorillas has just spotted him taking photos. Since he doesn't move from his position, though, the gorillas get bored with him pretty quickly after some curious pokes and move on.
Just watch your glasses. I don't think they're going to be that interesting.